I ain't got enough time. Oh, I'm back in my heels now. It's time to, I'm gonna put it on.
Are you ready, Davina? The time is now 5:06, and I hereby call this Finance Committee meeting of the Flint City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns? Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett? You have 7 members present.
We have 7 members present. Are there any agenda changes or additions? I do have 2. You have them before you. There's a resolution for $50,000 for ARPA to Franklin Avenue Mission. That's add-on number 1. There's also $50,000 to Eastside Compassionate Mission Center, add-on number 2. Are there any other agenda changes? Hearing none, it's now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address City Council, excuse me, I gotta close this out, must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed in the entrance. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. Madam Clerk, do we have public speakers?
The first speaker is, looks like Michelle Young.
Good evening, problem solvers. Again, I address all of you as problem solvers. One thing I would like to ask is a housekeeping measure again. The gentleman, when you guys vote, we cannot hear the gentleman. We hear the ladies fine. So can you either speak up, or Davina, can you please increase the volume for the gentleman so that the public can hear when we're watching TV? We really need to hear the gentleman speak up. So as far as problem solving goes, I'm up here today. One of the things I want to talk about is the St. Mark's money, and I'm going to address problem solver in the first ward, since he's the newest person on this body. Some of the things that I have seen this money pass over, and we know that this is a food desert. Flint is a food desert. We don't have major grocery stores within the city of Flint. And I know that some people may have religious background and some not, but we have example. Jesus needed food to feed 5,000 or more people. And there was a young boy who had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. I'm hoping that Mr. Problem Solver Leon would be that young boy and be generous to provide that 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish for St. Mark to feed the hungry. Be an example, be a giver, show some action. We already have 4 votes, we only need 1 more. I'm asking you to be that example, to be that godly example. Jesus saw a need, you see a need, I'm sure. We have some other things that are affecting our community and world throughout the U.S. We have tariffs that are now coming from Mexico and Canada. A lot of that will also be on food. So that means people will not have the money they need to get the food they need. Please, be a problem solver. Don't just talk about it. I'm asking you. And Judy, you're on the finance team. You provided money for $50,000 in willow trees. Provide $50,000 for food. It should have been fruit trees instead of willow trees, please. And I would like a response from the 2 of you. Provide this church with $50,000 to problem solve the food desert that we have and the problem that we foresee coming. You have to look ahead as problem solvers. There's going to be more food problems. It's coming. You have to look ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before I call the next speaker, I do want to respond to Ms. Young's concern about the volume. I've been getting a lot of complaints. I've had the company come out and check, and I am asking council members to please speak into the microphone clearly, and I think that's what will make the difference. You have to speak directly into the microphone. I will have them come out again, but I believe the issue is just that people aren't speaking closely enough to the actual microphones. So, next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, City Council peoples. I'm R.L. Mitchell. Live at 759 East Linden Avenue, in front of the graveyard, over on the north side. Through the Madam Chair, through First Ward, I noticed when I was coming on the elevator, I was affronted by the First Ward, Idi Amin, and Lashak, Candace Lashak. And as I was talking to her, she said, give her 6 feet. I was too close to her. And then I ended up looking at Idi Amin, finna ask him about what's up with the Hassel Center. But then the door opened, and then the mayor, student body, asked them, who is the First Ward councilman? And so America, you always wanted to know where our mayor got his scholarship from. Harbor, them Harbors, I think they say they're from Harbor. So we welcome the Harbors peoples here to Flint tonight, and you're gonna see, and keep watching, you're gonna see how Idi Amin handled the situation, the problem solving in Flint. Like the first speaker saying, all you problems in the second ward. To you, Miss, can't think of her name now. Like Reverend Morton, I think that's your pat over there right across the field from Hassel, where you've been hassling these senior citizens. I'm a senior citizen myself, but I don't know if I'm a turkey duck or what, because I go to McDonald's. They say, what you doing in McDonald's, sir? Ain't nobody in here but old folks and kids. The manager asked me that. That little light skin guy, he said, if you do something, I'm gonna got something to take you 5 to 6 blocks away. I said, man, what the? So I just make my business going to McDonald's every day and get me a sausage McMuffin with an egg on top, where the egg won't fall on the ground, and a senior coffee. And then I asked for a cup of water. They said, don't give him a cup of water. He be stealing the sweet tea. I said, man, what the? She did that because she supposed to set me up a breakfast. They act like they're feeding the people, but they give the food in front of people and make you fight for it like they do in Africa. They got the food, but they make the people kill each other before they take the food home. 100-pound rice on their head and all them scuffing the fight. They beat up one man, kill him, another one get it, and then another one They stopped showing that on TV. Talking about, we got a food desert in Flint. You know, we're on Clyde Road. You better thank the God, but nobody throw a bomb in there and blow up the food market. And then you're going to really have some darkies deal with these killing people, all setting up drive-by generation. And like Idi Amin, welcome. Go to work, sir. For what you can say, see my work, Mitchell. All right, take that.
The next speaker is Jeff Rolfe.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Rolfe. I'm the director of the Flint East Side Mission. The mission is located on Delaware, on the corner of Franklin and Delaware, 1907.
Speak closer.
Oh, can't hear me?
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
better.
The mission's been around for 30 years. We started in a small church on Delaware Avenue, and we began by just feeding people, serving lunch in the basement. And since that time, we've moved over to the old Shelter of Flint building on Delaware, right across from St. Mary's Church. And we are open Tuesday through Friday, and we serve hot lunches, and we also have a food pantry that people can come to twice a month to receive groceries. We also have a clothing house. We have haircuts and showers and laundry facilities. We also help people receive their identification, license, driver's license, and birth certificates. But of course, our main issue is feeding our neighbors. And we serve upwards of 1,700 to 1,800 people a month hot lunch. And we serve around 100 to 110 people food baskets every week. Obviously, we purchase all of our food from either the food bank or Sam's or Gordon Food Service, and we are funded completely by donations. We have a few grants that we receive, but mainly it's through individual donations. And with food costs surging, it has been a struggle to make sure that our pantry shelves stay fully stocked. By the grace of God, they have, but we never know from day to day. Helping us finance for our food at the mission would allow us to have our food pantry open an extra day of the week, as well as extending our hours. Right now, we are only open 2.5 hours Tuesday through Friday. But if we were able to do that longer, we would love to be able to do that. So we appreciate very much you considering us. We've been here, like I say, for 30 years, and you know, I always say I'm in a position to where I hope one day I lose my job because it's no longer necessary for the mission to be open. But right now it is very necessary, and we just want to continue serving our neighbors that come to our door. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is William Hunt.
Hi, my name is William Hunt. I've been a resident of Flint since the late 60s when my family moved here from Illinois, and I started college at FCJC, now Mott. I'm here because I'm very concerned about what is happening in Washington. My parents were both teachers. They're talking about eliminating the Department of Education. Today they announced layoffs of 70,000 employees at the VA, the Veterans Administration. We have a VA health clinic here in Flint that could be impacted. Congress has voted on, and the final vote will not be until around the 14th, to gut Medicaid by $800 billion, which means the elimination of Medicaid. If they pass it and the Senate passes it and Trump signs it into law, that is going to have a profound impact on this community as well as communities throughout this nation. There are also talks about cuts to Medicare and cuts to Social Security. And this is all very much disconcerting. I'm not sure what this body can do. Maybe the full city council can pass a resolution of some sort to resist what is happening in Washington and to work with the state to fight back and resist these attempts to further penalize low-income people. I have Medicare, I have Medicaid, and I'm on Social Security. And this could have a very profound impact on me, just as it will on many others within the city limits. Thank you for your time, and I wish you luck.
The next speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing tonight? And if y'all can't assist this man, I wish y'all would.
Speak up.
I would just like to say I said whatever y'all can do, help this man. I appreciate what he said. Thank you for what you brought to the council. Now, as far as
Pause this time. Will everyone please silence their phone according to the council rules?
and
Thank
you owe me some
Go ahead.
seconds.
I said pause your time.
Before that though, but I'm good.
Okay.
Anyway, I've talked to a couple of seniors before tonight council, and the last one I called is very much aware of everything. See, a lot of people don't conversate. A lot of people don't be on Facebook. A lot of people just want to go to the senior citizen building and chill. So, and I called them and asked them, because I'm talking like, at the end of the day, when all the smoke clear, we're gonna have 2 senior citizen buildings instead of 1, and I would like 1 in the 3rd ward. If you can have 2 in the 1st ward, you should be able to have 1 in there or the other 8. But that's another discussion for another day, but I would just like to put that on your mind. So the seniors like that person that I respect, because I don't call many people. So when I called him and he told me that, yeah, you're right. And only thing he want to do is go and chill at the senior citizen building. He ain't about all the politics. So at the end of the day, we need to stop talking about dividing the senior citizens, because they're not dividing. They're just going to the building of their choice. They don't, people like these gentlemen that I talk to don't really want to be involved in dividing the senior citizens type stuff. They just want to chill at the seniors. Thank you.
The next speaker is Brian Bowman.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Bauman, and I am the Executive Director of Franklin Avenue Mission. And we are, mission started back in 2016. Started out with a dream, and we continue to this day of continuing to grow on the 3rd and the 4th Ward in Flint. And we just are started in 2016. We have plenty of opportunities going on. We have our Clean and Green program to help beautify the area. And we serve 100 to 125 nutritious dinners each Tuesday and Thursday that provide limited delivery also for any of our residents who cannot make it to the mission. We have homebound members that we do have services that we drive out to them in good weather or bad. We've seen 250 meals each week, 800 a month. And we have also, besides giving meals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have a marketplace on Saturday. Affords people in the neighborhood to have an opportunity to go shopping. And we set up the mission as a grocery store of sense, so they can come into the mission and shop on by appointment. We are looking with the possibility of your generosity of these funds to open our marketplace also on a Saturday, because our numbers are growing on that front as well. We serve 52 families every 2 weeks, and that number, like I said, continues to grow. It hasn't stagnated since we started, so the need is there. Also, in 2025, we are looking to increase our marketplace hours, and we're also looking to add nutritious and healthy food options as well through smoothies in our marketplace, and also working with the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan. We are going to try to get a Doctor and You program where you can get a food prescription. And this will also help us to bring in more people from the neighborhood to give it better choices. Every two we do the families then, and we also have trying to read my notes here. We provide personal hygiene products to an average of 65 adults monthly. We also provide emergency clothing for those in need. And on average, we provide 10 emergency food bags weekly. So if someone comes in and needs food immediately, we have a bag ready for them and they can take it up to families of 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I want to thank the committee for the opportunity to talk to you tonight and appreciate it.
The final speaker for this meeting is Doug Matthews.
Good evening. My name is Doug Matthews, a good government activist from the 7th Ward. Tonight I'm here to address the shameful spectacle we've witnessed over the last several months: endless deadlock votes for the vacant 3rd Ward council seat, stalled repeatedly at 4-4. This division isn't about what's best for Flint residents, it's about power and control. Why do I say this? Well, let's speak plainly about Beverly Biggs Levy, or as she's now rightly been called, Beverly Big Sleazy. Her record speaks volumes. Wow. In 2012, Big Sleazy and others were charged with felony food stamp fraud, accused of exploiting Flint residents by purchasing their food stamps for pennies on the dollar, and in Big Sleazy's case, funneling her gains into her catering business. According to the 7th Circuit today, she still owes $25,000 in restitution for this fraud. Is that the ethical leadership that Flint deserves? Her treatment of the late Quincy Murphy was equally reprehensible. She publicly mocked his serious illness right up until he died. She called him shitty, brought diapers to council meetings to humiliate him, and literally accused him of, quote, liking little boys, unquote. This conduct isn't just shameful and disgusting, it's morally reprehensible. Big Sleazy has shown troubling homophobic tendencies, perpetuating hateful and discriminatory views.
What's your point? Pause this
Councilwoman
time.
Burns,
Pause.
Councilwoman Burns,
Point
Flint
of order,
deserves.
which means you're supposed to
Mr.
stop
Matthews.
talking.
Can you
pause my
Point of
time?
order.
Mr. Matthews.
Point of order what?
Point of order.
Excuse me.
You need to get, he's out of order.
Excuse me.
And we can give him a warning. He's out of order.
No, he's free to speak as he wills.
No, I said point of order. Robert's rule states all talking must cease.
And I am
including
asking
you.
what is your
My point of order is he is attacking an individual that's not here. She's not here.
She is here.
Oh, she's here. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I'm not done. He's attacking her with misinformation.
I'm telling the truth from
not-
court records.
Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews.
Look it up. Yes.
Mr. Matthews, please, I will give you a warning if you have an outburst like that again.
Okay.
I'm going to deny your point. I am going to deny your request. Continue his time, please.
I appeal the ruling of
Okay.
Mr.
She
Matthews.
brought diapers to council
Mr.
meetings.
Matthews, you must
I
stop.
appeal that ruling.
There's
Support.
There's a motion on the floor to appeal the ruling of the chair, and it's been properly supported. Go ahead.
He needs to get a warning right now.
She just gave me
I'm
a
going
warning.
to give him a warning.
What rule has been broken?
Decorum.
Decorum?
One
Oh,
more
you
here.
guys are number one on decorum. Give him his warning. Anytime someone speaks out over there or cough loud or clap loud, you're giving them a warning.
What's your point?
I'm speaking on it doesn't matter. I'm almost done. But you know, you give everyone a warning. He needs to get a warning. That's why I'm appealing your ruling, Judy.
Are you
He
done?
needs his warning.
I am going to deny that appeal.
No, you're not gonna
excuse
deny
me.
this appeal. We're
This has to
gonna
go to
vote
a
on
vote.
this
This has to
appeal.
go to vote. You're correct. I'm not in support of that because we have never called out and allowed people, you keep saying, People have freedom of speech. There was no protestation.
Also, tonight is
Well,
freedom
no,
of
'cause
speech.
you stop people
I-
all the time.
Tonight is freedom of speech.
What's your point?
We are in the middle of the chair's discussion. I'm in the middle of the chair's 1 minute on your appeal. It is the chair's turn to speak.
Correct. All talking shall speak, cease while I'm speaking. We have had multiple people come before us and criticize people and allowed to speak. And now you want me to correct one person, and I am not going to do it. What he's saying is not against our rules. So I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote. This is a yes overturns the ruling of the chair, a no sustains it.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? No. Mr. Pfeiffer? No. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. That appeal fails. Go ahead, Mr. Matthews.
Okay, can I have my time back, please? It was closer to 2 minutes.
It was 119.
Now, Kawana got thrown out.
Okay.
Everybody else get thrown out.
Big Sleazy is also notoriously litigious, using the courts repeatedly to silence critics or distract from her own failures in the numerous recalls she's launched. Flint deserves leaders focused on progress, not people who drain our city's resources with personal vendettas and endless lawsuits. Yet, despite this clear evidence, Councilwoman Burns and her allies continue to boldly call out, "Big Sleazy," says Winfrey Carter. "Big Sleazy," says Burns. "Big Sleazy," says Pfeiffer. "Big Sleazy," says Jarrett. Every time a vote comes up, Councilman Burns and her allies continue because they want control over Flint's budget. Even a child can see Beverly Big Sleazy is precisely the kind of person that Flint can't afford ethically or financially. Tonight, I call upon the council, including the Burns faction, to decisively reject Beverly Big Sleazy, the food stamp fraudstress. It's time to stand up for integrity, respect, and genuine public service.
Thank you. That's
Flint
your time.
deserves better.
That's your time. Thank you. And that's it for public speaking, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, now it's time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakings, only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual, excuse me, that is a warning. You've spoken out twice.
He's back there antagonizing. I'm looking right at him. Yes.
All right.
Give
Everybody
him
be
his
respectful.
warning. Give him
Everybody,
his warning.
everybody be respectful.
He is.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Right now, I'm not giving anybody a warning, but if I hear anything else, there will be warnings given out. Going back to, excuse me, I will give you a warning because you are talking back to me. No, I wasn't talking to you until just now. No.
This is crazy.
Okay, excuse me. I'm reading. I didn't hear him, I'm sorry. You know what, I'm not gonna do back and forth. This is not our council rules. All right, so council members may respond once to all public speakers, only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to address the members of the public?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight and who came and shared their thoughts and concerns. Ms. Young, thank you. I hear you. What I would like to do is give you my number and have a conversation with you outside the council chambers to discuss that matter. I also would like to share with you that I have been in contact with the pastor over there, Kevin Thompson, and we will be having a conversation as well that doesn't need to be discussed here. But thank you for sharing that. I also would like to thank the young folks who waited around for me from the college. That was real cool. They wanted to meet me and appreciate some of the things that I have been doing in the community, and I thought that was real cool that they stayed around. So I want to thank those kids for staying around and allowing me to introduce myself to them. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the councilperson, Dr. Liddell Lewis and Ms. Candace. On the 27th, along with myself, we were able to hold a Black History contest over at the public library for a lot of our young scholars and so forth, and it was a standing room only. It was very impactful. The kids were amazing. They shared their ideas and thoughts about the city and being very creative about Black history and so forth, and that was very cool to see. So I just want to say thank you to them, and thank you to everyone else who has came and shared their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Thanks, everyone, for attending tonight's meeting. I think we started off good until the biggest clown in Flint once again wants to attack a strong Black woman. I mean, I don't understand how he gets away with these racist things every single time. I don't understand it. He is the biggest racist I've ever met. And he continues to spew hatred in this microphone. It's amazing. And the white privilege that he just spews out by he won't get a warning for speaking out of turn. Believe me, if somebody was up, if Art Woodson was up there, he would probably been thrown out. So it's so blatant and obvious that it's disappointing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
First, I would like to thank all of the residents for being here tonight. Thank you for being engaged in the process. And yes, Mr. Doug Matthews, it's about power and control. It is. And yes, there is a 4-4 or a 3-1-4 vote here to, as far as that 3rd Ward appointment. But you know what? I have to agree with my colleague in the 8th Ward. You are the biggest racists that have continued to come up to this podium. And I am so sick and tired of your racist rhetoric. Who in the hell is Big Sleazy? You should be calling yourself Big Sleazy. And I am sorry for the residents who had to come in here and listen to that. But this has gone on too many times where this man has come to this podium and have spewed racial undertones. They're not even undertones. He's blatant with it. You need to be calling yourself Big Sleazy. As far as food access, yes, it's important. I will save my comments until we get to these resolutions for the Franklin Street mission. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Michelle Young, for what you presented to us tonight. Yeah, we spent $50,000 on willow trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. For the first time, Doug, you get none of my time, because that's what you are. It's nothing to this community, but a big distraction, unfortunately. There's many issues that face this community, and we had food access, which is serious. And to see, and I'm looking forward to the discussion, because they kept denying 4 of my colleagues, Liddell Lewis, Liana El-Amin, Candace Mushat, And Judy Priestley voted no for St. Mark 3 times. 3 times. Food access is serious. Food insecurities is serious, and we live in a food desert. And as we look at the unknown cuts that we're getting from the government to help people, people are living in a time of uncertainty. High price of groceries. They don't have transportation. You talked about your delivery. I don't want to take care of just one side of town. I want all of Flint. We have money to feed the people, and that's what we are charged with, feeding all the people, all the people, all the people. And so I don't know, well, I'll tell you why some of my colleagues didn't, because it was a vendetta, revenge, and pettiness. We have to rise above the pettiness when feeding the community. I mean, you're feeding a lot of people, but St. Mark is like today. The line is on video. It's consistent. Consistent. And when you go, what we look at used to be $200 worth of groceries, that's probably 2-3 bags now. And so your issue is important. When you come to the mic for something important, it's important, and I hear you. The problem is we got to feed everybody. And hopefully we're going to work that out tonight. But until they feed St. Mark, we're going to have some issues.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I do want to say thank you to both organizations that came today and discussed the groups that they feed. One of the things that we know about the 4th Ward, it is one of the more overlooked wards in our city. Food access is hard for them to come by. I do want to make sure that while we're saying until we feed one, then the other won't be fed, it sounds a little bit like we're talking about if you don't vote the way I want you to vote, holding votes hostage, then I won't vote for them to have food. So if the sentiment is you believe everyone should have food, then you'll vote for them to have food at the same time of still encouraging others to vote for the thing that you would like to move forward. We don't stop one because of the other. So if it's a genuine thing of people need to have food, then you will vote for them to have food today. You will not put that on anyone else. It is nobody's choice but your own for you to vote against them having food. Sir, the veteran that came today, I want to thank you for coming. I want you to know that I am in full support of veterans, full support. And what is happening to veterans on a national level is despicable and disgusting, and I will stand with you in your quest to make sure that you, as well as others who have served this country so that we have the freedom of speech that Mr. Matthews displayed today, can continue to happen. I also want to point out, and we're going to be very clear, that nothing that Doug Matthews said today was racist. And to say that just because he said it about a black woman, it wasn't about her color, it was about her words and her actions. He laid out several points of behavior that she has done in the past that has been despicable. Not that a black woman has done, but that Beverly Biggs Levy has done in the past. So be very clear that we do not need to try to silence residents by using race, because there has been times where she has come up here and she herself has said disgusting things, and nothing has happened in the midst of her saying disgusting things. As he pointed out, she came up here and said transphobic things. I wish my colleagues would have had the same energy. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, we're going on to the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Okay, it's been moved by the councilperson in the 7th Ward.
Madam Chair.
And seconded by the councilperson in the 1st Ward. Yes.
I want to separate the 2 add-ons.
Okay. Any others?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
And why don't we have, I think on our agendas it states who they're replacing, but the printed one.
You're on the wrong agenda. We're fine.
You're on the wrong agenda. You're on government ops.
Oh, no wonder. Okay. That one only has 2. No, I'm not. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, any others?
He separated them.
All right, seeing none, this is the vote to send the consent agenda consisting of 250058 and 250059 to council.
Ms. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no, that those two items will be sent to council. The next one is add-on number 1, which is the reallocation of $50,000 to Franklin Avenue Mission for food access and food system support. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I make a motion that we send add-on number 1, which is the resolution to reallocate $50,000 of ARPA funding to Franklin Avenue Mission for food access and food system support to council.
Is there support? It's been moved by the councilperson in the 7th ward, supported by the councilperson in the 1st ward to send to council. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I appreciate what you do. We're one of the poorest cities in the state and certainly in the nation. Food banks are in these type of support systems are crucial to the survival of our city and our citizens. With that being said, however, there are members of this council that refused support for the St. Mark's, which does in another neighborhood. So unfortunately, I'm a no on this one until St. Mark's is approved. So it's nothing personal. And if St. Mark's, if somebody wants to do a motion to do St. Mark's and we approve that one, I will certainly vote yes on these. So unfortunately, you guys are caught in the crossfire of the different ideological views up here. But unfortunately, that's our only way forward. So I don't want to remove funding from you folks, but there are other folks that have been up here in the same situation, but for political reasons they were denied. So there's no reason for anybody to be denied. We have plenty of money in this category. So if we want to approve St. Mark's tonight, I will vote yes on these, but until then, I'm gonna unfortunately vote no. Thank you.
Anyone else in the first round?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, through you to Davina. Davina, for add-on number 1, as well as add-on number 2, when did you receive the resolutions for these, and why are they add-ons, whereas they should have been within the agenda when you sent us the agenda last Friday? I believe we got the first agenda, the initial agenda last Friday.
So I received that copy today from the administration. However, there was a request made last week by the finance chair for these resolutions. They were in the process with administration. However, because they are city council requested resolutions, they were forwarded at her request to be an add-on today. So we've just been waiting for signed copies, but they were amended to just say signed off by the city attorney, and I received them today.
Okay, who requested these resolutions on city council?
Finance Chair Priestley.
Okay, thank you for that information. So I'm gonna say this. I will not be voting on add-on number 1 and add-on number 2. Number 1, the first reason, we have a deadline. The deadline is on Thursday for all resolutions to be submitted. Okay, I'm tired of this. We gotta start following the protocols. We continue to circumvent protocols that are in place. deadlines. Secondly, we had St. Mark's come to us a couple of times for money for food access. Over here on the north end, 2nd Ward. And I appreciate everything that you guys are doing over at Franklin Street Mission. I appreciate it. But I will not be voting on any resolutions as far as food access until we vote to approve St. Mark's. We have a food crisis throughout this whole city. And if we can't satisfy the food crisis on the north end, as well as the food crisis on the east side, if we can't satisfy St. Mark's, I can't satisfy nobody. I just can't. Right is right and wrong is wrong. We have 4 council members, 1st Ward, 2nd Ward, 4th Ward, and 7th Ward, vote against St. Mark's for food access. How disgusting. But see, they let their personal vendettas get in the way. So tonight, I will not be voting on add-on number 1 nor add-on number 2 for those 2 reasons. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
thank you. Question to you, for you, Madam Chair,
Yes.
because you're both finance chair and you worked with the ARPA committee. In this food access category, how much is remaining in that category?
I have not updated this report since September 25th. I believe.
She knows that. It was 600,000. 600,000.
There is not. We did approve 50,000 for Bethel last week.
Okay, so we're not quite sure where we are there.
We also have something coming in 2 weeks.
What do we
that
have coming in 2 weeks?
if there is, I don't have all the details, but there is some things coming up in 2 weeks. I'm just going to say that. And
coming
I have
from
mentioned-
where?
Coming from the administration. We had discussed before about reorganization of money, moving around money to do some things for the city. That's coming in 2 weeks. That's coming the next finance committee. I don't know if we should discuss that. I don't think so until we have that resolution in front of us. And there's still some things working out, but that is a concern. We have to use some of that money.
Okay.
Some
We
of
have to
that,
use some of
whatever's left of the food access, we have to use some of that money for this project.
We have to use it someplace else.
Yes. But money's coming from all categories.
Okay, so how much is to be left in food access?
Seamus had that number, and I don't have that.
Okay, and you say that's 2 weeks out before
Yes.
we'll have more information?
Yes.
Okay. So
Not a secret, but until we get that information, it's an answer.
with that, I'm gonna, again, help me out. Is it substitute motion? What kind of motion I gotta make to keep this in committee till next time?
Just make a motion to postpone for 2 weeks.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this add-on number 1 for 2 weeks.
It's been moved and properly supported to postpone add-on number 1 until our next finance committee meeting, which is the 19th, I believe. Yes. Okay, this is the vote.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer? No. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis is absent. The vote is 6 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no. That will be brought up in 2 weeks. Our next motion, add-on, is resolution add-on number 2 for Eastside Compassionate Mission Center for food access and food system support. I'll entertain a motion.
Don't we need to, point of order? That was a,
It was sent to committee.
It was kept in
It was kept in committee. We're done with
okay,
that.
yeah, all right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'll entertain a motion. I'll make that motion to postpone it for 2 weeks.
So to leave in committee?
Yep, we'll leave it in committee.
Leon supports.
Support it, so I supported it, I made the motion, it's supported by councilperson in First Ward. This is the vote.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
We don't discuss.
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes, go ahead.
No.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 4 yes, 3 no.
Vote is 4 yes, 3 no. That, I will entertain a motion. That motion failed. Just a minute. Let me update my notes. I'll entertain another motion. I'll make that motion to send to council. Is there support? It's been moved and properly seconded by the councilperson in the First Ward to
Madam
send
Chair.
to council. Go ahead.
So I won't be supporting this one either, based on what I said in the first thing, and I will not be supporting sending it anywhere. If anybody wants to bring it back up, they can reconsider it the same way they did St. Mark's. I am not playing the games. They want to vote no on St. Mark's and play the game. I'm not playing their game either.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
thank you. Look, my colleagues are serious tonight. So I do want to say this. To you, Madam Chair, what was the amount that was in the, if you're the finance chair, you do not have the right just to keep that number to yourself. How much do we have?
As I said, I do not know off the top of my
It's on your
head what I have.
computer.
I do not have it on this computer.
Madam Chair, your decorum.
Ma'am, I do not have it on this computer.
Okay.
I maintain it on another computer because I do that in Access, and I do not have access on this computer.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Ms. Burns, are you aware that there's at least 100,000, because that's what they want to get rid of?
Yeah, we exactly. So here's where we have, your project is worthy, as I stated in public comments. I support that, but we should be feeding all the people. No one should go hungry. No one. You'll hear the crazy rhetoric that because of one thing, I don't care who it is, if you're hungry, you're hungry. And if people are in the food line, they're there because they need food, period. And so when we look at this issue that they want to be the crypt keeper of the vaults, the money vaults, I have a problem with that. Here it is, they don't want to give access, she don't know, don't have the figure, can't figure it out, and it's just the game. But then there's something coming from the administration because she's the crypt keeper of the secrets. That's a problem for me. And right now it's a problem for your organizations. And unfortunately, you're getting caught in the crossfire. They denied St. Mark's 3 times. 3 times. They're going to have to be on reconsideration forever because whatever problem it is, it's silly, it's trivial, but that church serves this community. And then you'll get all the craziness. The fact is you need it and they need it. That's just the fact. But the fact that I'm surprised they had the audacity to bring it forward, knowing they just killed St. Mark's 3 times. I was shocked. I gotta give it to them for that. Saying, we got the gusto to do it, but we not thinking about St. Mark. We ain't thinking about those people over there. But then they bring your two. My thing is feed the people. And then they got an attitude. It's simple for me. We have the money. How much money? And look, it ain't her money. It's the people's money. It's the people's money. This is, when we talk, this is the dysfunction. St. Mark, they got 4 no's this time. The time before that, they got 3 no's. 1 person was absent, and the time before that, there were 3, another 3 no's. They couldn't get 5 votes. They couldn't get 5 votes. It should be all 8 of us, because we don't have the 3rd ward. You're not only missing a council person for representation, but you have an election coming up. You're missing the fact that we can't get 8 votes. It should be all 8 to feed the community. Every one of us should be voting when it's food access, when we have the money. But the council thinking that we're very separate. We're the legislative, the administration is the executive branch. This council works with the executive branch, not the legislative branch, which is who their colleagues are. And so their intentions are, I don't get it. When I saw these, I'm like, wow. Pastor Thompson is discouraged when they just so vehemently say no, no, no. And they see the line that's wrapped around the corner. And yours is probably wrapped around the corner too. And we have the money. You're hearing it. Have the money, but not feeding the people. So this is when people need to pay attention. When elections and votes matter, we have the money, but some of them don't have the will. It's for other people's projects. We can't even find out how much money in there. Every time she gets selective memory, she selectively don't remember. She selectively knows she was getting 100,000, 2 pockets of 50,000. Until feed them all. Yours should be in the yes vote with St. Mark's. We should be yes voting all 3. I'm not doing it any other kind of way. I'm not changing my mind on it. It's all 3. I'm sorry or nothing. Talk to them, call them. Well, Judy's good at calling people over at the county commissioner's office, so lobby her to get the money. I'm done.
Mr. Chat?
Thank you. So my colleague is correct when she said that we will hear rhetoric tonight. She's given you plenty of rhetoric, because it's completely disingenuous of her to say that she believes people should have food access and then sit here in your face and tell you that in order for you to get your people food access, you have to do things her way. Everything that she's accused us of doing, she is sitting here doing in your face. I need us to be clear on what we're dealing with when we're dealing with this. This is feigned indignation from somebody who's simply trying to get money to someone that is a personal friend for them. The difference of what is happening here is that we are trying to get food access to people who are today asking in a part of the city.
Excuse me, watch your tone, please, Madam Chair. Decorum.
Couldn't hear me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you. It was rude.
What's your point?
My point is she should not be speaking to my motives. Calling some. Excuse me, I'm not done. Rule 43.21. Pastor Thompson, you don't know if he's my friend or not, so don't speak to my motives. You dated him.
Go ahead.
Or tried to, not me.
Never in my life, and thank you for being dishonest and telling lies. Thank you for trying to make something personal. That's incorrect again. As you can see, when she's not winning an argument, she goes low and tries to take the argument somewhere else, saying things that are deeply dishonest. She also tried to stop my flow, so let me get back into my flow with the fact that, again, this is disingenuous. It's feigned indignation for someone that is a personal friend. She's saying someone is doing personal attacks or speaking to motives. We heard her entire rhetoric before I got the floor of how she was telling us what we were doing. Is that not what she's accusing me of now? I need us to start watching dishonest Deltanya Burns and how she moves. It has to stop today. It has to stop today.
I'm not going to allow her to attack my character by calling me dishonest Deltanya Burns when we looking at kooky Candace, okay? I'm not gonna allow that, not today.
Go ahead and
All right, thank you very much. Again, as you can see, she's gonna go low to try and stop me because she can't beat me verbally, so she has to say all kind of things to try and stop what I'm saying. I need us to watch the behavior. I need us to watch the fact that everyone that's around her that spends any time with her eventually points out the fact that she's a liar, eventually points out the fact that she's dishonest, eventually points out the fact that she's a user.
point.
She's
You
trying
need
to
to
stop
get
me
her,
again.
or I'm gonna get her, because I'm not gonna allow her to slander
trying to
me
stop me
and
again.
speak to my. No, you
Trying
need to
to
be
stop me
quiet if you know what
again.
point of
Mr.
order
Shet, Mr.
is.
Shet.
Thank you. Close your mouth. I'm not gonna allow. You need to correct her. Speaking to my one thing I don't do is lie, but we know you do.
No.
So I'm gonna tell you don't go low, because I'm gonna go lower on you.
Excuse me, please be respectful to each other. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. As I stated, everyone knows she's a liar. It's been said time and time again from anyone that's dealt with her. You can't get any lower than you already are. If you can, I'll be surprised. Back to what I was saying about food access. There are people here today who needs the food access. They keep saying they care and they want everybody to have food, but apparently, as always, Dirty Del Tanya has to deal in dishonesty. As always, it has to be in order for me to do something, you have to do something for
Listen,
me.
you need to get her
What is your
because
point?
she is a lack of decorum, name call. Y'all throw everybody out of here, including us. Get her together. Get her, warn her at this point. All this name calling, Dirty Del Tanya and all this other stuff. She needs to stop.
Please
Warn
be
her.
respectful for each other. Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Absolutely. When you correct Ms. Burns, you notice when she's doing rhetoric and she's saying things about us and trying to say we're doing political things, you notice nobody stops her. You notice we don't stop or interrupt her, but once someone starts calling out her truth, she interrupts you every 2 seconds. The truth is, she could care less about you getting food access, because if she cared about you getting food access today, she would go ahead and vote for you to have food access today and continue to push her cause for St. Mark to get food access. Like she said, you're getting caught in something that's personal for her. This is not personal for me in the sense of there's an issue with someone and then she's going to do whatever she can do, throw out all kind of accusations and say all kind of stuff. She took it personally first. So if you want to get personal, then you have to deal with the consequences. Bottom line, this agenda item is about people who want access in an area of the city, the 4th Ward. If we look at the 4th Ward, the most burned down houses, the least resources get put over there. Then you're mad about willow trees that they put up to try to stop some flooding that's happening. I'm sorry that you don't think the 4th Ward deserves anything good. I'm sorry that you think putting up willow trees to stop flooding is something to make jokes on, when we have a whole city that we need to figure out how to deal with flooding with. We need willow trees in certain other places. We need something to stop messing up the infrastructure of our city. People's homes are getting flooded left and right, but we want to joke about the trees that were put there to help homeowners not have to incur extra costs. We want to sit here and we want to play games and act like we care about food access. We have 2 people in front of you today that you can say yes to, that you can get food access to. It's fine, because you've already stated exactly why you won't do it. You won't do it because you can't get your way. It has nothing to do with them not doing, it has nothing to do with the fact that when we look at the Franklin Avenue mission, since 2016, they've served the 3rd and the 4th wards. They've come up with a food prescription plan to help get people access to healthier foods. They have marketplace hours for those who can't get to the farmer's market. It has nothing to do with when we talk about the East Side Compassionate Mission Center and their 30 years of service, their Tuesday through Friday service on Delaware, where they have a food pantry, where they give out shower, where people can take showers and people can also take their clothes there and have their laundry done. What you're talking about has nothing to do with these 2 things while these 2 people are in front of you. Let's deal with what's in front of us, and that is the work that they are doing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Right there.
I'm going to take my time. So I see that my fellow council members, even though I have voted for almost every resolution for food that comes before this council, I am asking for food for the residents of the 3rd and 4th Ward. The 4th Ward is the ward that gets the least amount of money in this town, the least amount of ARPA money, the least of everything. And I'm here fighting for my residents. I have people living in homes and they go up in flames because they're trying to keep up warm. How can they feed themselves? They go over there.
The 2nd Ward does too.
So this is ridiculous. This is definitely a vendetta. And I warned you too that they may do this because I voted against St. Mark's. St. Mark's is pretty well funded. You guys are not.
Not true.
You beg for money. You beg for resources. You've got nothing. You did get, Franklin Avenue got $22,000 to help build their pantry. That's it. There's been no money. And you are both on the borders of the 4th and the 3rd ward, the poorest part of the 4th and the 3rd wards. And those people, I've seen them. They're hungry. They want food. It's around the city, but because I won't vote for something that happens in the north end, because I know the money, and we've been working on this for a while. Just because it didn't get on the agenda, that was my fault, because I thought Seamus was putting it on, and he didn't. Because I gave it to one of the mayor's staff to put it on, and he didn't. That's my fault.
Request for information.
That's on me. What?
Just to be clear, you said you didn't vote for St. Mark's because you know the money?
Because I knew these were coming. I knew these were coming. Because I've been working on these I've been getting data so that they have a budget for this. I have been working on this. And my residents, 4th Ward deserves stuff, deserves food, deserves housing, deserves senior centers, deserves city services, and we get nothing. We get nothing. For years, 4th Ward has got nothing. And they laugh. She laughs constantly at everything. I don't get passionate about much.
Who was she?
I don't get passionate about much, but I'm passionate about my area that I represent and the people I represent.
You should be passionate about the whole city.
That's right.
The whole city.
Excuse me, this is my time, not yours. So I am very upset that they will hold it against me that I vote no on one food resolution. Remember, I voted for all the others.
What is all the others? Point of order.
Any other
Point of order.
What's your point?
What are all the others besides Bethel?
It's an invalid point of order. So this is
She lying.
This is for the residents on the east side who feel like the city is being ignored. They feel ignored. They feel forgotten because everything goes elsewhere. Nothing comes to my residents. I have a resident here who has come to me and complained to me forever about what's going on the 4th Ward. So now it's time for the second round. Is there anybody in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So, again, when I asked the question earlier about how much is left in the category, and we now understand that part of the thought was around some additional resolutions to come when St. Mark's was voted down. And then we hear tonight that there are some additional resolutions to come that we're not going to talk about yet. I would have thought that all 8 of us having a heart to help the people, maybe one of those that knew what was coming would have said, let's amend these resolutions so that for the one St. Mark that's coming tonight and the 2 that are coming next week, we equally distribute the 100,000 to the 3. So at this point,
Request for information.
What's your request?
Are you saying that we only have 100,000?
That's a good question. I don't know how much we have, because we haven't, I guess, but, you know, September, October, November, December.
That's why she shouldn't be the finance chair
I don't.
at all. Ain't her.
For the 100,000 that's on tonight, if we were to split that 3 ways, everybody gets something. All people get served. I would think that, again, with all 8 of us in one way or another saying people should get fed. Now, whether we're saying people should get fed and I'm voting for it, or people should get fed and you're not voting for it, or whatever,
Because of reconsideration, it's been voted down.
we should be then saying, let all people be fed. Let's take this 100,000 and equally divide it amongst the 3 organizations that are either before us tonight or have been recently before us. Bring them back as all 3 resolutions, whether they have to come back now. 2 of them look like as for reconsideration, and 1 of them in a committee. But that's where I see fairness at this point, in trying to serve as many as can be served throughout the footprint of the city of Flint, given what we at least know tonight we have to work with. Now, if it be come next committee meeting, we understand we have more money to work with, then maybe it's not just 33,000 per. Maybe we increase it then to back to the 50.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. Now, and I hear what my colleague in the 9th Ward is saying, I do. But I'm gonna just say this. If we can't bring St. Mark's back to give them some funds for food access, whether it's the 33,000 or the 50,000, and I believe it will still remain at 50,000 because I believe we still have funds in that category. I will not be voting for these, whether they are sitting here in committee or whether they're in special affairs, wherever. You won't get my vote for my official vote for council, to move these to council. Because if we're gonna feed people on the east side, we need to be feeding people on the north side. We need to be feeding people on the west side and people on the south side. We need to feed people throughout this city. And if you're so passionate about the 4th Ward, you need to be passionate about the 2nd Ward. You need to be passionate about the 1st Ward and the 3rd Ward and the 5th Ward. You need to be passionate about the residents throughout this whole city. That's where your passion should be. And we have a food crisis throughout this whole city. So I will not be voting on these resolutions, add-on number 1, add-on number 2. And thank you guys for the work that you do, but it's the principle, right is right and wrong is wrong. Thank you.
Because they wouldn't put his through. That was before she left.
Boo, you don't know what it was? All right, so,
Why they were denying
yep.
Pastor Tim.
I think we've already tried to
He wants 75,000.
move this to, we already tried to leave this here. Madam Clerk, are we, okay. I would like to make a motion to move this resolution to special affairs.
Support.
There's a motion on the floor from the councilwoman in the 7th Ward and supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. This is the vote to send to special affairs.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Yeah.
Something wrong with my
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no, that failed.
So I'm out of time.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
that motion failed, but, well, that's a substitute motion.
What'd she say?
Disregard.
Madam Chair. Go ahead. I'm trying to think too.
Request for recess,
Okay,
for a 3-minute recess.
5-minute recess.
I don't need 5, Judy.
That's all right, just because it takes time.
Seamus? I don't think Seamus is here.
You can't go with us.
No, I know what they doing. I know what they doing. It ain't. Right. Huh? So, no, they want to bring up Pastor Tim's thing too. So we'll bring everybody's back at the same time. Huh? Right. Hey, Davina. I need to get do I need to send an email to you to find out the official amount that's in that food access account?
Will council members please take their seats? RL? 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 The time is 6:39. Oops, we gotta wait for our, wait, I'm taking that back. Wait until our clerk comes, sits down. The time is 6:39, and I'm calling this back into session. Do we need to do a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Just for the record.
Okay.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey
Present.
Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes, present.
Ms. Mashat?
Whatever, I'm here.
I started.
Mr. Pfeiffer? Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have seven members present.
Okay, there are 7 members present. Okay, so we were on the second round of discussion of sending this to, add-on number 2 to council. Is there anybody else in the second round?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I do want to put this through you to the city clerk. I would like to have the request, which is to have in each and every category that is left in ARPA, to have it sent to all of the council members so that we are made aware, because it's the whole city's funds, and that information should be shared amongst everyone. If you could please put a referral into, I would like to put in referral to you with that, please. And then also to you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Clyde Edwards, the city administrator.
Would you like me to ask him forward?
Yes, I would.
Mr. Edwards?
Mr. Edwards? So there are other projects that are going. Can you give me the name and the amount of the projects that are coming forward?
I'm sorry, could you give me some clarification? I didn't quite hear
So in the food,
issue that was
okay,
being discussed.
the food access amount, if you could give me the name of the organization and the amount that is coming forward that the finance chair stated.
I would say this, and not in dispute of what was being said, but that was probably a preliminary conversation with Mr. Bannon, Seamus Bannon. So I don't know all the details to that particular circumstance.
Do you have an amount? Because if we're looking, I know there was about 600,000. So if we're only talking about 100,000, is the administration getting ready to spend 500,000 in food access?
Again, I'm sorry. Those particular details probably were details discussed in that situation. So I don't want to guess at it,
So
and I don't want to give you a wrong answer.
Okay, so with how this goes, so is our finance chair having private conversations with Seamus only without you, the city administrator, being there?
I would just say that we do often have conversations as a preliminary step to moving in a certain direction. So that's not unusual to have that, but I don't know the particulars of this circumstance to present to you right at this point in time.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this because I know you know the answer, because you know everything.
I don't know about that.
You know the money. You an accountant. I know you know the money. So it's just not willing to be shared at this time. Is it coming to us Monday as a walk-on?
I don't know that to be true, absolutely true. I think more clarification needs to be done so that you'll get a correct answer out of this. Because I don't know. I don't know where it's at in resolution. I don't know whether we've prepared any documentation. All that documentation has to come through me, but it has not.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the second round? Okay, this is the vote to send resolution add-on 2 to council.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
The vote is 3 yes, 4 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 4 no. That motion fails. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and properly seconded to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. We are adjourned at 6:45.
And to the public, if you wish to speak at the Government Operations Committee, you need to fill out speaker slip now. If you already filled out a slip from the previous meeting, you don't have to fill out an additional one. Also, for the record, there will be no legislative committee meeting today, as it was canceled per the meeting rules because there were no agenda items.
If they vote.
She was saying, if they not, I mean, St. Mark's is gonna be on there every meeting until the, no, heck, no. But they're, I'm not voting for them until all of them can get funds.
All of them. If all of them can't get it,
We have to wait 5 minutes before the next committee.
yeah.
Right, oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep,
Or they can put in a consent.
yep. Cause I'm not.
The time is now 6:51 p.m. on Wednesday, March 5th. I call this Governmental Operations Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 7 members present.
We have 7 members present. Are there any requests for agenda changes and/or additions? Seeing as how there are none, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speaker or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. I do want to remind everybody that members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comments, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. All speakers are subject to the Flint City Code subsection for disorderly conduct. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is Michelle Young.
Good evening again, problem solvers. Problem solvers. We got to get to problem solving. Couple things on housekeeping again. So you guys have been debating about a resolution that the public didn't get to see. I don't have a copy. I think if I take the time to come here, everything you see, I should see. So once things are added, and if it's after the time of being published, professionally speaking, somebody should make sure we get it. And I also agree with you, Councilwoman, that things coming on at the last minute needs to cease. That does not allow people to properly vet things, and that's when you have chaos. That's what I see up here is chaos. So one of the things I'm gonna ask you as council people, because we are talking about this food desert, I want to know from each council person, how many of these facilities that are asking for money have each one of you went and saw what their process is and what the need is? When I would like you to speak back to me and tell me, which ones have you gone to and which ones have you not? And then I want to challenge each problem solver to attend those food giveaways before the next time this resolution comes up. See what the food problem is for yourself. Learn to volunteer for yourself. Maybe you will prioritize problem solving this issue. And again, I spoke about the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Could you imagine Jesus saying, oh, these 4,000 can't get no food, but these 1,000 can? Mr. Alamin, could you imagine Jesus saying, these people in this group can't get the food, but these can? I am challenging you guys to get food to all that needed. Everyone needs it, not just the 3rd ward, not just the 4th ward, not just the 2nd ward. They all need it. Please be an example of Jesus Christ. And guess what? If the boy didn't give out the loaves of bread and the fish, it would not have happened. So somebody has to stand up, one person, to equally distribute this money for the needs of the Flint citizens. The last thing I want to suggest.
Can you please pause the time, Madam Clerk? So what we're not going to do is that yelling out that you are doing. Please stop yelling out. Continue her time.
The last thing I want to know, where's the org chart for the city of Flint? And where is the speed, how many speed guns do we have for the police officers? Please get more professional. Have your financial stuff available for the meetings.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Radar gun. You're right, speeding. We don't really have a traffic
Hello,
division.
Council, I'm R.L. Mitchell. For the record, all about these, this General Motors in Flint. They say they promised Flint 100 years, and they was out of here, just like their word. But like in Detroit, there's a river in River Rouge, where Ford invented Ford, and nobody, and he ain't got, but the mayor of Flint, he got 51% of General Motors when they gone. So that means Mr. Mott owned the whole General Motors, and that's why the little guy nearly downstairs calling the shots, talking about cancel the meeting, don't give us, ain't transparent with we the people. Just like in River Rouge, that represent Egypt. And you know what? God people, she said something about Jesus. God told Moses to get his peoples out of there. It's just like the church. Church and state don't match no more. But the church don't realize it yet. Like Bishop Morton, over by the Hassel Center, right, just about 25 steps away from where they kicked Mays in the butt, talking about pick up the bubble gum and hog tie and threw him in the car while I was there. And Second Ward, you ain't here tonight, talking that junking up, like he owned everybody in the church, and like he used to be on radio every morning talking that Bishop Morton talking stuff, and now it seems like the mayor and all of them got back in Pharaoh days and got all that junk and talking about spiritual stuff, talking about people like that woman talking about, why don't you check about Jesus? I say something about, in certain groups in this town, you say something about Jesus, they'll take you in the parking lot like them, I mean, where the Muslim at now? Selling them bean pies and stuff, and they're talking, they cut us down. Like for instance, Mr. Mott kids got more money than the mayor. Like last week, the dude 27 years old, he was 7 years old when they go down in Miss Burns neighborhood and look at, and they did it just 1, 2, 3, just like that. And that's why I told him, get up from the table. Let the council do something like Tarzan over there. Look at him. All they had to do is jump at her and see what a woman can do to him and his brother. A black woman like that down south, big old black woman with a handkerchief behind her head, she'll kill her own kids to keep the white man from killing them. All that junk. And smother all that junk. I wish he would have just make her jump out of that red rooster. She ain't here today. Oh, Ward 2. Take that, America. Take that.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Jeff Rolfe. He's not in.
Oh, I think they left.
Next speaker is William Hunt.
I'm sorry, what was their name?
William Hunt.
I think he left.
Next speaker is Rich Jones.
He left. Hey. Stop.
Next speaker is Brian Bauman. Next speaker is Doug Matthews.
He's gone.
Next speaker is Michael Wallace.
City Council, how y'all doing today? My name is Michael Wallace. I've been a Flint resident for 32 years. I'm 32 years of age. This is my first City Council meeting, and I'm just here to say that you guys did not do a first good example. It was a lot of back and forth bickering, but that's not what I'm here about today. I'm here about the crime, the gang violence of these kids. These kids study dying, and it's ridiculous. I got a 3-year-old daughter, and yesterday, the only thing that she could tell me was, Dad, why they shooting? Why are we laying on the ground? I had no response for it. What do you say when your 3-year-old child said, Dad, why they keep shooting? Every night they're shooting. every night. Every night these kids die. I got 6 friends who have buried their kids. That's ridiculous. I think the city of Flint needs to do better. I think the police department needs to do better. My best friend just lost his nephew, and it's ridiculous, it's sad. He's lost every member in his family to gun violence and drugs. That is ridiculous. That's not all on the city though. That some people just are being people. I really don't know what I'm trying to gain from this. I just really need my city to step up. I love Flint. I've been a Flint resident my whole life, and I want to see change. I don't want my daughter to have to grow up to ask me questions like that. I don't want my next kid to have to wonder if they're going to be the next kid that die. The city of Flint did not believe my friend when he said that his nephew was killed or something had happened to him. It took for the state police to come in, and they took the case serious. It took them 3 months to find that body, 3 months to get answers. When the city of Flint turned us away, they didn't even look at us. We had to do our own search party. I'm just hoping that y'all can fix it, try to come up with some type of agreements. I believe all you guys y'all was all elected for this city, to stand up for this city for the people that's not here. I know that people probably think that I'm young because I'm 32, but I'm smart. I can read a book and I can understand what those words say. Just like you all should be able to read those quotes or whatever y'all got on those pieces of paper and come to some type of agreements to feed the people, to take care of these kids. I just wish that we can get some type of change around here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is James Moore.
Good evening, James Moore, 2nd Ward. It's been a few meetings that I missed, and I see that things haven't really changed that much. But I'm hopeful that we can get ahead. Earlier in the meeting, Mr. Alameen out of the 1st Ward had made a comment on how well things had came from whatever event that they held over there at the library in regards to some black issues. I appreciate them for going, and kudos to you guys. But a word of acknowledgement that I would like to be able to say is dealing with the 5 council people that stick together up against the 4, that division. I'd just like to point out that while you guys get thankful for the things that you do, I hear it on different places, I watch it on the news. You guys need to remember Judy Priestley in the 4th Ward when they're passing out the credit. Y'all will get your names to be called by other peoples in the community, leaders, and they always tend to forget out the 4th Ward. They always tend to forget out Judy Priestley. Judy Priestley works hard to make the wrong vote with y'all. So when things are going good, include her in. You know, I done heard all kind of ridicule about her. Some things that even I won't even repeat. But you know, y'all 5 stick together pretty well, even though the third Ward seat has been quiet for going on a year, or to be a year before it get replaced with someone. So we got to be careful that we get the right people up there to do some things. I want to see some independence. I'm sick of the 5 and the 4. That's all 9 of the wards, because shit, we ain't getting nothing done for the city of Flint. So we got to have some independent thinkers up there speaking versus the group, because the group ain't moving the city forward none. And due to contrary belief, I like all of y'all. I really do. I like all of y'all. But when I see the mess y'all get caught up in, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. And after August or whenever the next one's coming up, we got a vote coming up. We got to fix it. We got to get something done. Because after a while, the people of the city of Flint's going to pay attention, and it's going to be Judgment Day. You know? And all of y'all are good people in your own individual way, but this 5 and 4, we need to break that up or put it in jail. Have a good night.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The last speaker for this meeting is Beverly Biggs Levy.
Hi, you all. My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I don't never need Candace, Judy, or none of y'all to try to take up for me for Doug Mathis. You know Doug Mathis has a problem. Y'all know he has a problem. He could say whatever he want to say to blacks, and you don't care because, for one, you're not black. You don't have to take up for me. But I'm going to say what I want to say. It's sad you want to give the 4th Ward money, but you don't want to give St. Mark's a dime. Y'all got a problem because Liddell don't like him. Y'all don't want to do nothing for St. Mark. And I don't blame you for it. If they don't want to give to our side, we ain't going to get it their side. It's just simple. Yikes. And Candace, it's sad because you try to always put things in people's mouth. Like the last time I was here, you said somebody gonna commit suicide. I did not say that. That was what you said. Ain't nobody committing suicide because whoever's calling us ain't nobody but Liddell. Because they're worried about what Liddell, we need to stop messing with Liddell. Ain't nobody messing with Liddell. I don't care. I thought they were thinking I was famous this past Saturday because they talked to me for 10 minutes. They on my phone for 10 minutes talking about Liddell. Tanya gonna get your butt whooped. Jerry gonna get your butt whooped. Pfeiffer is prejudiced. Y'all need to quit playing these little stupid mind games. And you need to tell your second ward colleague, stop. If you guys don't give to St. Mark's, y'all don't give to the 4th Ward. Simple. And stick with it. Don't back down. Stick with it, because that's what they want you to do. I ain't had nothing for my ward. I ain't asked nothing for my ward. You just asked something for your ward, but you turned down St. Mark. Wake up. Wake up, because that's what you need to do. Y'all say I say anything? Yes, I do, because y'all don't understand until you say something stupid that you don't like. And then when you don't like it, you want to take care. I'm not scared to back down off of nobody. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And y'all foe over here, y'all wrong. The other foe, stand up for business. Don't let them take you down. Have a good day.
Madam Clerk, did you say that that was the final public speaker?
Yes.
Seeing as how that was the final public speaker, it is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers. Only after public speakers have spoken, an individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like the floor during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward, you have the floor.
I already spoke, and thank you for everyone who was here. And we should be feeding the entire community, the entire city. And we have the money. We have the money. To the young man who, I just came back there and talked with you, and we had a good conversation. It takes a lot of courage to sit through these meetings and come to that podium to speak and then to talk about death. I have been asking since before I was elected for a comprehensive public safety plan. And to have a focus, we need a gang task force. The children are killing the children. We have got to start coming together. Over 10 children were shot last year in Flint, some fatally. And it's not getting any better. The gangs, you know the gang members. I can tell you on certain streets where they've had 5 shootings. And there is a lot of death. And you're at an age where you're seeing it. My age demographic never saw it, never had a drive-by, never. And my children, they didn't have to experience it. Your experience is not the same as everybody else's, but it should be. Keep coming here, speaking out, and talking about it, because your voice is heard. And we're going to work, I'm going to work with you. We're going to get some more people. We're going to work together, because this should have been a gang task force a long time ago, years ago. Don't ever quit speaking out, especially when you have children. You have a 3-year-old little girl, and she should be able to walk around in her community, sleep in her bed without worrying about the threat of getting shot, because there have been children sleeping in their bed and gotten shot in the city of Flint because of gangs.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 1st Ward, you have the floor.
Just want to say thank you again to that young man as well. And I definitely hear your pain and your hurt. I'm someone who was shot in the head and back, so I know about violence and so forth. And I do a lot of work in the community through my organization to work with young people to try to curb them from that. So I definitely would love to partner up with you and see what we can come up with, as well as others who are concerned about this. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response? Seeing as how there's no one else who wishes to speak during council response, I will go ahead and take my time. Sir, I do thank you for coming. I want to first start off by taking accountability for my role in allowing a meeting to devolve this evening. And you came here to talk about something serious. And the tone, like you said, this is your first meeting. You should not have been met with that. So for that, I take accountability, and I do apologize, because I could have conducted myself better regardless to how I felt about what was happening. Because if you saw later, we did get it together and were able to have cordial conversation. And so that is what we should be doing for residents. So what you came up here and spoke about, it's so disheartening. And to hear that you have a friend who has lost family member after family member after family member. I don't know how many people have read the beginning of the charter, but at the beginning of the charter, there are certain things that after we take our oath to the charter, we have agreed to provide for residents, and public safety being one of them. And like you said, while it is not completely on the police or the city, we do have a responsibility as council members to ensure that residents have what they need according to what we agreed to when we took that oath to the charter. And so if that means food access for everywhere, we should be having conversations to see how we get that done. If that means more money toward public safety, if that means more money toward programming for youth, which we did introduce, the mayor introduced youth jobs from the cities, from the city paying for it, and we did vote for and agree to that. But obviously there is more that we can do, and what we need to hear is from residents like you who are living in those situations in real time every day to help us figure out, one, how do we, from what we can do, because like you said, sometimes in life people choose the wrong path, but what else can we offer? What else can we do according to that charter that promises you public safety to ensure that your child has a better life? That is my time, Madam Clerk. I do want to move on to the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body? Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
So make a motion to send the consent agenda to council.
There's a motion to send the consent agenda to council by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Are there any separations?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
250063.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Are there any more separations?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th.
I would like to separate 250061, 250062, and 250064.
All righty. Are there any more separations? Well, there's only one thing left. Yeah, it's been separated. Moving on to Resolution 250060-T, which is the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU version 2.0 Comprehensive Plan Update, City of Flint Planning Commission. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward, you have the floor.
move to council.
She has made a motion to move to council. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion?
Yeah.
Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
So the language in this, I do not agree with. The language gives power to our council president without input from the rest of council. And given that, in my opinion, we don't have a duly elected city council president, I will be voting no on this. And frankly, I don't know why any of the language needed to be amended from the 2011. So apparently, the first one was approved in 2011, and for some reason, we find that we have to change it and basically create a board that we don't have input on who's on that board. It gives power to a council president, which we don't have duly elected. So at this point, I'm no. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward, you have the floor.
I will be voting no on this. This is with that steering committee, and I'm in agreement with the councilman in the 8th Ward, giving it to the president. I will not be supporting this at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Moving on to the second round of discussion. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, you have the floor in the second round of discussion.
Madam Chair, can you give people just a little time to speak up?
Please stop hollering out.
I tried to get your attention during the first round of discussions.
Please continue, Ms. Winfrey Carter. So noted.
So are we still in the
We are in the
first
second round of discussion. So noted.
Wow, you are a nasty person. Very.
Are you going
I'm
to
just
use the
gonna
floor?
say-
Are you going to use your time correctly?
I'm using my
Thank
time.
you. Go ahead.
And I said what I said. Now, I will not be voting on this MOU as well. I think it needs some more work. I don't agree with this 21-member steering committee. I just don't agree with this entire MOU. So therefore, I will be voting no as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of
Madam
discussion?
Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Giving grace should have been given because she was trying to get your attention during the first round. But I do want to say this to you. Well, I don't see anybody. Well, I think to you too.
Tyler, could you please join us at the lectern?
So I know that Emily, and I know you're walking, I know that Emily Dorr is no longer with the city, and this was her project she was working on. And so with the steering committee, I know it's at 90% of the people on this board are supposed to be within the city, and the other 10% can be out. And then we had expressed concerns before about who gets to choose the people. This was her, she had been working on the Imagine Flint, and she's gone. Do we have a new Emily?
There is not an interim director, but the comprehensive planning process has been...
Please pause the time. So for the very last time, please stop hollering out. Would you make sure that you speak into your mic? If you cannot hear, I would encourage you to move closer, please. Can you speak into your mic?
Yes.
Thank you.
So there is no interim...
Tyler, hold on just a second, because during my time, I'm very, you're 6'4", 6'5", so you're 6'6". All right. So I know it's hard because that mic is made for some of us short people. So I think that with Miss Luna, she could not hear you. and the disrespect that I feel shouldn't have been given to Miss Luna, because you generally cannot hear, and you're tall. So this was, you were saying the interim, that
Yes, we do not have an interim right now, but the comprehensive plan, that entire process has been led by my team. So
who's on your team?
So my team is business services, that's economic development and zoning. Traditionally, zoning staffs the planning commission, and they've been the main kind of attaché leading this project.
Okay, and so we've been in a, I don't know, a quandary with having a council president. Quorum is often broken. I know. And so I cannot support this at this time. I just can't. How this is with how they pick, that part was important to me. I've been to the Imagine Flint, and how we, making sure we have stakeholders who share part of what we want Flint to look like. But I think this is not how we all want to look like. I don't know if we can go back to this. Needs to have some changes. I would like to have people that I pick from my ward and appoint, because there are people who really care about it, to where I can say, okay, just like our other boards, the citywide advisory, the board planning, we don't do planning, the board of commissions, ethics and accountability. I just want to say my person's the only one that didn't vote to take council's pay, because she read the charter, so.
Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Can you hear now?
Seeing as how there is no one else that would like the floor in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to send this to council.
Mr. Alamin?
No.
Ms. Lewis is absent. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no. That has failed to be sent to council. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam,
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Madam Chair, to start discussion, I'll make a motion to send resolution 250061-T to council.
All right, there has been a motion to send 250061-T, which is the reappointment of the Hurley Board of Hospital Managers, Charlotte Edwards, to council, and has been properly supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Is there discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
Through you to the city clerk. Madam Clerk, is there a resume with this? We don't have one attached to our packet.
She's probably gonna say that it was a reappointment, I bet. Yeah, that one isn't in there. It's not in there.
There should be one in your packet.
Do any of my colleagues have a copy of it in their packet? No?
No.
Okay, so I will forward that to you now. Do you have the others in your
Yes.
packet?
This is the only one that
Just
does
this?
not have a
Okay.
resume.
I do not know why it would be missing. But I will send it right now.
Given that this one doesn't have a resume and I haven't had time to review, I'm not going to vote on this tonight.
You gonna make a motion to leave it here?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to
Support.
leave it here. And
There has been a motion made by the councilman in the 8th Ward to leave resolution to appointment 250061-T, which is the reappointment to the Hurley Board of Hospital Managers Charlotte Edwards, here in committee, and it's been properly supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis is absent. The vote is 6 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no. That appointment 250061-T, which is the reappointment to the Hurley Board of Hospital Managers, Charlotte Edwards, stays in this committee. Moving on to Resolution 250062-T, which is the reappointment to the Hurley Board of Hospital Managers, Deandra Larkin. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
move to council.
There's been a motion by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward to move to council. Is there support? Properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you. Tonight, I will not be voting on any of the appointments, the reappointments, nor the appointment for the Hurley Board. If you guys remember, last month, Mr. Phil Sharts was here to be for his reappointment on the Hurley Board. And I had colleagues to vote against his reappointment. Now, my thing with that was I take issue with the blatant political interference of appointments that, and the interference comes from our mayor, okay? When you do not agree with him, and I don't know what the issue is, but he decided to not want to reappoint Mr. Sharts. And I have 4 colleagues to vote against his reappointment. That's an issue. That shouldn't be happening. He has years of experience. And I do understand that they just reappointed him. He's continuing to work, but he has not been officially reappointed. And they just appointed him to be the chairperson, right? So there, right there, his board members, the members on the board, they think highly of him and think that he's doing a great job. So why he cannot be reappointed? But see, we have a mayor who goes after individuals. He had, you know, it's called what? Personal vendettas. Okay? It's petty.
Can you please pause the time? Stop yelling out, because clearly you can hear her because you're doing a call and response. Please stop yelling out. I understand. Please stop yelling out. I understand. We have a stare down. Go ahead.
So they were told by the mayor not to vote for Phil, for his reappointment. This is all politically motivated. So I will not be voting until Phil can be reappointed. No one will get my vote to be reappointed on this board. No one. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 8th Ward.
I have a problem with the dates on this one, so hopefully, Madam Clerk, can you let me know, or do you have that in front of you, the current dates of this person's previous appointment?
I think she finished her term.
Because it says to serve 5 years, a 5-year term, but last time I checked, this is March. So it's 5 years exactly plus 1 month? Or,
I know that this one was requested by the administration to be pulled, and I believe that was because of the dates. There was a mistake in the dates.
so they wanted this one pulled?
Yes.
Okay.
There were a couple that were supposed to be pulled.
Yeah, I only knew about
Motion to postpone indefinitely.
support.
It's been moved by Councilman Pfeiffer to postpone indefinitely, supported by Councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
This one is gonna be a problem. I think there's supposed to be a change too.
Ms. Winfrey Carter.
Change too.
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. That has been postponed indefinitely. Moving on to appointment 250063-T, appointment to the Hurley Board of Hospital Managers, Dr. Khalid M. Ahmed. What
Madam
is
Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward?
Motion to postpone indefinitely.
There's been a motion made by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward to postpone indefinitely. Is there support? Supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Because one of my issues was
Mr.
this was
Alamin?
that-
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 1 no. That has been postponed indefinitely. Moving on to the appointment to the Ethics and Accountability Board, Christopher A. Utek for the 4th Ward, and that is Resolution 250064-T. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Motion to send to council.
There has been a motion to send to council. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion in the first round? Councilman in the 8th Ward, you have the floor.
So Judy, there's two issues I have with this, otherwise I would get my vote. There's no dates on this
That's.
for terms.
That's through
It's,
Davina.
and there's no address.
Mr. Utek is here
So
today.
I get that, but that needs to be part of the public record. I definitely,
We can make a motion to amend it.
what's that?
We can make a motion to amend it.
Please, please,
Sorry.
please. You don't have the floor. You're talking back and
Sorry.
forth.
My fault.
So if we do a motion to amend to appoint one to add those things, I will certainly support it, but in its current state, I won't. So I'll
Are you-
wait
are you
for
making a motion to
I don't
appoint
have
one?
the information or anything, so I want to make sure, I'll let Judy make it. It's hers.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the
Madam
first round
Chair.
discussion? Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you. Here is my question. I know that Mr., I don't want to pronounce his name incorrectly, If Facebook, through you, Madam Chair, there was a comment that was made on Facebook, social media. Had you seen that? Okay. And so that was one of my, yeah.
I don't know.
And so one of my questions was, because this was sent to me, and there was a comment that was made that said, Judy Priestley, Flint 4th Ward Councilwoman, horrible public servant, does nothing for the community. Underneath, yeah. That's underneath his page, so I don't know if it was,
You want to address them?
you know, it was on there, and so I didn't understand the balance or the relationship that would be there. Maybe it was something that had happened before, but I'm gonna say this, because when we speak to that ethics board, there's a problem, because even when that ethics board is supposed to balance, they're supposed to be ethical. One, they don't read the charter. Two, when they decide to take council's pay, they didn't understand section page 78, what transition was when it was defined. And so I don't want to, if there's an issue, I mean, it's on there. I had several people send it to me. And it was on a podcast that's back there in the back, 810 News Media Group. I guess they were the first ones, and then people sent it out. And so that is a serious concern. If we have a resident who doesn't like the council person and she's appointing them, I don't know how that works. I don't.
Call them up. Ask them.
Oh, well, through you, Madam Chair, to
Could we please have this appointee to the lectern, please?
UTEC. Hi, Mr. UTEC, how are you?
Good.
Excuse me, could you please state your name for the record?
Chris Utek.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Utek,
Thank
UTECH.
Mr. UTEC, so that was your comment, and if it seemed to be, did you put that on there? It was did you know that was on your page?
Yeah, that probably was on there.
Okay. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny. I have found a lot of what all of the city council does is very wrong. I've sat here and watched cat fights tonight. I've listened to people basically trying to hold the city hostage by saying, I will refuse to vote on anything unless you vote the way I want. Yeah, I see a very dysfunctional city council.
Okay, so
Judy
this is
my representative.
Hold on just a second, because this is about you sitting on the ethics board. And so with sitting on the ethics board, you're required to, one, know the charter, understand the definitions inside the charter, understand what the sections and the powers and the duties on page 35 through 37 are of the Flint City Charter, understand what the ombudsman, I appreciate your honesty I do. That you put it on there, you owned it. I appreciate that part, and I respect that. We are a complicated council, but all of the things that come to you, what type of issue? So it could be a issue with the water bill, an issue with the police department. So when we get complaints, for instance, there is a complaint. One, I don't know how they're taking complaints, and we don't have an ombudsman. The role and the duty of the ombudsman is to take intake a complaint. So how are they looking at complaints when Michelle Young back here has had a complaint 2.5 years old, 2.5 years old, and it has not been looked at or heard? And so that's part of what that board does. And this board right now doesn't get it. You're honest, and that I like. I do like your honesty. And so when they don't understand what they can and can't, they didn't understand transition. They didn't understand that section Article 9, page 78 meant transition from the old charter to the new charter, and we did not have an ENAB board in the former charter. And so a lot of us reading and understanding. Do you want to serve? Because it's not just about council. Do you want to serve?
Well, yeah, that's the whole idea. Judy came to me. Judy and I don't agree on a lot of things. The reality is I see people trying to help the city. His issues should have been addressed. the way
Thank-
I see it. All of these issues.
Thank you, sir. Please hold. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Don't go, Chris. Come back.
She's gonna let you, she's
Chris,
gonna let you
come
finish
back.
on her time.
Go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then I have.
I just personally, I just think that when you watch the way a city works, and I see this city failing in a lot of ways, and yeah, ethically it fails. When people are being ignored, things are being ignored, people are not being addressed, their issues are not being addressed. I've watched people stand here all night and talk, and I've watched the city council sit there and look down at their phones. You know, one person got everyone's attention when he was talking about children being killed. Everyone looked. Everyone was paying attention. Until then, everyone was looking at their texts, watching their phones, looking at paperwork. I've watched people ignore everything and just rifle through their papers. How does that accomplish anything? Ethically, this board needs to have someone looking over it. I don't know if I'm that person or not. I'm just a person that sees what's going on, and I'm tired of seeing it. Judy came to me. She asked me if I wanted to be on the committee. I said, sure, why not? You know, to me, it's something that needs to be done. And if somebody has to step up, I'll step up. I don't care. I'll hold anybody accountable. I told Judy when she wanted to appoint me, I said, keep in mind, I will hold your feet to the fire. And that's what that job is about. And that's personally what I think it would be about. I think all you guys need to have your feet held to the fire all the time. And if that's what the Ethics and Accountability Board does, glad to do it.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Chris, isn't it true that I asked you for the first time 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When we were arguing on Facebook, I said, why don't you step up? And you said.
She absolutely did.
Yep.
Yep.
And so I have been after him for 2 years, and he finally agreed. And I really appreciate the fact that he is the only person from the 4th Ward who, in the time that we've been elected, has actually said yes to the EAB board. Nobody has said it. Nobody wants to be, and I think you'd be a great person for that. I blocked your wife on Facebook.
Yep.
On your personal page? On your personal page?
Yeah. Yep, personal page. But we actually have sat down and talked about serious issues that are going on in this city. And we've come to a mutual understanding. He can hold my feet to the fire. I'll take his calls, I'll take his complaints, I'll address them, and if he doesn't like the way I addressed it with him, he'll tell me so, right?
You got that right.
But we also share, his wife and I share a love of gardening. And that's how we actually started talking.
Yep.
But we have total different political thoughts, but he would be good on this board.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, politically, people can disagree.
Correct.
But on a human level, we have to all kind of come together. And that's the big thing, is Judy and I don't agree politically, not even a little bit. But as far as a vision for Flint, sure. You know, we all want to see this city come together and grow. I just moved here 3 years ago. Just bought a house, you know, we're trying to fix it up. The neighbors are all doing the same thing. But we're also watching, and every night, like he says, I hear gunfire every night. I mean, it's not, you know, once in a while. I mean, and sadly, it's something we're getting used to. You know, that's the thing you get used to is like, oh, was that one close? You know, no, the city needs help. And if I can help, I'll do it.
Yep, I appreciate your willingness to serve. What is your address so that we can amend this to that, add that to?
3533 Craig.
I knew it was Craig, I just didn't know the number, and I'd have to look it up. Okay, thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you guys for
All right, is there anyone else?
Yeah, I'm not done, ma'am.
Okay.
Do we have the dates, Madam Clerk, or will that be filled in on the next? Because we do have.
Yeah, if it's moved to Special Affairs or Council, we will have the dates by
Okay.
that time.
All right, I'll wait for my colleagues to do to do a full round of discussion, and then I'll move it to go to special affairs to fill those in. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Seeing as how there is no one else, I will take my time. Mr. Utek, don't know you, never met you before in my life. Everything you said today, 1000% correct. I think that it is important that we have people, especially on the Ethics and Accountability Board, who is like, I don't care about who you are. Right is right, wrong is wrong. If I agree, I agree. If I disagree, I disagree. And I think that's what's important, right? You don't want to put someone on an Ethics and Accountability Board that has a clear bias, one way or the other. The board was put in place, one, to ensure that residents had a voice when it comes to like the ombudsperson in that office, and then two, like you said, to make sure that council is in line and following the charter. So I appreciate your honesty, I appreciate your candor, I appreciate my colleague for being willing to put you up knowing, and I think that shows that you are not the kind of person that retaliates, so I appreciate that. I mean, you have my support just based off what you said tonight. I mean, it is what it is. And so I am in complete agreement with your thoughts on the city and holding council accountable and it not mattering who it is and it being straightforward. I would strongly suggest, though, as you move toward being on the Ethics and Accountability Board, if the council does vote to put you on that board tonight, that you watch your Facebook criticisms, because that turns into something different. And I will say, if you criticize, just criticize all the way across the board. But I always urge and encourage everybody that's in an elected or appointed position, I mean, just period though, in life, watch your social media presence. We all get upset and everything, but everything doesn't need to be said to everybody all the time. Some stuff, it's fine to not voice on social media, and it's fine to not retaliate and say things back and forth on social media. Doesn't make those things that are said about you true or untrue. It's okay to be an adult and to be a professional. So, I mean, like I said, I appreciate you and I appreciate your candor. Moving into round two, Councilman Pfeiffer, you have the floor.
Chris, I appreciate that you want to serve, and certainly potentially have an opposing view of the person that's appointing you. Like, to me, that shows a level of, how do I want to put this? How you think on your own. Like, you're not going to take one side just because, or with the group think. Like, that to me is, and appreciate Judy for appointing somebody that potentially has opposing views. I do just want to say something about, there was a lot of the Ethics and Accountability Board holding our feet to the fire. I just want to put this on the record. The Ethics and Accountability Board makes recommendations back to us. They don't oversee us. They don't do anything unless you're going to get votes to take us to court. You make recommendations. So I just want to make clear that some people may be listening, like, the Ethics and Accountability Board has control over City Council, and that's not the case at all. And I know that's not probably the way you meant it, but some people might misconstrue that. But if Judy makes the amendment to add the address, we'll send it to, do we need to send it to Special Affairs? I don't know. We send it to council, and I will support it if the dates are on it for council. Other than that, I appreciate you for willing to serve, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants the floor in the second round of discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Madam Chair, through you to Mr. Utek. Yes.
Mr. Utek, would you please join us at the lectern?
Mr. Utek, I must say this while you're walking. Now, I tend to think that the Ethics and Accountability Board is unethical and unaccountable. What changes do you plan to bring to this unethical Ethical and Unaccountability Board?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Because
I wouldn't have any idea. I mean, honestly, I've never done this kind of stuff. I've never been involved with this kind of stuff. So I wouldn't have a clue. I couldn't tell you what I'm going to bring to it because I've never seen it.
have you ever watched any of their meetings?
I've watched some of this.
Have you viewed
Meeting.
any of their meetings?
Oh, their meetings? No.
The Ethics and Accountability Board?
No, I have not.
You have to know where to find them.
Yes. I mean, they're on the same feed. Do you view the council meetings
I have no idea.
through YouTube?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever viewed the council meetings on YouTube?
A couple times.
Okay.
Request for information. I don't think they're, are you aware, I don't think they're on the same channel that we are.
Yeah.
Because the clerk controls these cameras. If they're not in this room, the city doesn't send somebody to record.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the clerk. Are our council meetings being televised on YouTube?
The council's meetings are, yes, on your official channel. That's the only thing that's shown on the official Flint City Council YouTube channel, are your council meetings.
What about the Ethics and Accountability Board meetings?
I do not know how those are broadcast, honestly.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I would say, you know, maybe go to an Ethics and Accountability Board meeting just to watch, you know. Yeah, you know, I know you watch the council meetings, but like
I've
my
watched a
colleague
couple.
said, you know, I think the Ethics and Accountability Board has overstepped their bounds, what they should be doing. You know, spending taxpayers' money to send the council to court. How dare they? But thank you, Mr. Utek, for stepping up and wanting to serve.
Thank you. Is there thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Mr. Utek, I know. I just have one more question. You just nod from your seat. I do think it is good to look at or to view one of those Ethics and Accountability Board meetings, and you can actually get them on 810 News Media Group, the last one. And that will give you a lot of insight on how that board functions. You really need to take a look at it. Some of them, yes.
What's your request?
Were they crying because they lost in court?
Please continue. Please continue. Please continue. Come on.
I think it would really, I like your independent thinker. I like that you speak your truth and you own your truth. I like that. And my person's on there and she speaks her truth. They're trying to throw her off of there. And she is the only person that voted no because she understood and read the charter when they decided to take council's pay and escrow. No council is supposed to, because each of our wards are different. I know that when you said we're looking up here, we just got the budget in print up here. And so if we're reading, doesn't mean I'm listening. If they're at that podium and they're speaking, I always give my attention. I always do. Because if people take the time out, I make sure. One of my residents it's generally one of my residents in here almost every meeting. There's one right there behind you. She's in here, and she from the 6th Ward, and she took the day off. And she has had a complaint in for over 2 years. This board is behind. They didn't understand the powers and the duties of the ombudsman or the ethics board. Their thing was they were disrespected because they wanted to take council's pay. You know, this may be a part-time job, but I personally work more than just the part-time because Flint's needs are greater than that. They're greater. Well, I guess they changed them.
Keep coming back, sir.
Oh. No, I was actually going to. I was actually supporting him. He gave me, yeah, I'm done, Madam Chair.
What just happened?
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? He thought that they. And
That was, right, and to get.
is
the
there anyone else?
information.
I understand.
How much, did I have, was my time done?
You said you were done, yeah.
Okay.
Is
That-
there anyone else in the
Yeah, that-
second round of discussion? Okay, I'll take my time. I'll take my time. I do realize that what we just witnessed is upsetting, but I think what happened was there was a misunderstanding as to the direction that the conversation was going. I'm not excusing or saying the actions were okay. I just want us to kind of understand where a miscommunication might have occurred, because all he was hearing was, well, have you ever attended a meeting? You should go to a meeting, you know? And so I just think that was a moment of frustration. Was not handled correctly, but I'm just saying I think he wasn't catching what was happening, that's all. We have to,
Madam,
thank you, Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this to the next committee meeting.
Point of order.
What's your?
Judy does not have the floor.
I have the floor, but this is the issue. I'll make the motion to postpone until the next committee meeting. I'll make the motion to postpone until the next committee meeting. It's been moved by me, properly supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I understand he doesn't understand, but the decorum and flipping us off, like, that's
Ms.
amazing.
Mashat? Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin?
No.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Absolutely not, no.
Ms. Burns?
No.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no. That fails back. Now we are on to the roll call for the original motion to send this to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I gritted too. I just been looking for three.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
No.
Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin?
We're in the middle of roll call.
Who you yelling at?
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. The vote is 2 yes, 5 no.
It's 5 no, that fails. There's a motion to adjourn by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward, supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Jarrett?
That's what he did.
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Ms. Priestley? Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns? Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. It is now 8 p.m. on Wednesday, March 5th. This Governmental Operations Committee meeting is adjourned.